on the recording? Yeah. So today we will, students, can you see the slide before going further?
Yes,
Students, can
sir.
you see? Okay, I will go very slow now because already, we have come a lot of way forward. So I'll go very slow from this particular unit. Okay. I think few more students are yet to join. Okay. Now, team leadership is concerned in this particular unit. The major concepts what we will be discussing is the use of teams in organization. Then we will be understanding majorly, students, the types of teams, then decision making in teams, then leadership skills for effective team meetings. Then very important thing what we'll be understanding here is that's called Gannett's team effectiveness leadership model. Then virtual and self-managed teams. Then the changing role of leadership in self-managed teams. Well, first we'll understand the importance of team in any organization. See, let me start with a small quote for this particular unit. See, teamwork is the ability to work together towards a common vision, right? So always remember, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships. So individual commitment to a group effort, that is what it makes a teamwork, a company work, a society work, then a civilization work. And very important is we should always work together because we are a team. So we should respect, trust, and care for each other. So teamwork means never having to take all the blame yourself. So with this beautiful quotes, so let me start enter the unit of this fourth unit, that is team leadership. Well, the teamwork is a way of life in the post-modern organization. See, generally, students, research has been encouraging, showing that the use of teams has led to desirable performance, that is, improvements for many organizations in a variety of industries. Although teams have also not worked so well in some cases, some of the performance indicators include improved productivity, then quality, then efficiency, employee satisfaction, and even customer satisfaction. Please see the slide over there, the use of teams in organization. So teams have become the basic structure through which work is performed or is done in the organizations. And the basic premise of the teamwork is that teams offer the best opportunity for better organizational performance in the form of increased productivity and profits. Because students, please understand now, whenever you are working in the team, so you get an opportunity to interact with each other. You can share your knowledge. You can learn the skills what other members in your team has got. So the working will be fast, and you can increase the productivity if you have a better team members who will understand with each other, and even it ultimately leads to the profit generation of the organization. See, in other words, the synergistic benefits of teamwork are such that the members of a team working cooperatively, that is very important word over there, working cooperatively with one another, can achieve more than working independently. Correct? So there is growing evidence that the use of teams has led to desirable performance improvements for many organizations in a variety of industries. And for your understanding, students, let me, I have put some small examples over there. See, a large stamping plant created empowered maintenance teams that took into upon themselves to improve the functionality of specific machines in the operation for both prevention as well as a rapid response maintenance, which result or the result was 28% reduction in the machine downtime. So these are some of the classic examples of teamwork. So I will quote other examples too, like connect, communicate, and collaborate. So basically, when in the teamwork they communicate, that is, we communicate and brainstorm will happen, and even collaboration on just about everything. So a team requires focus on what they create so that it can be used by more than one group. So teamwork is the collaborative effort of a group to achieve a common goal or to complete a task in the most effective and efficient way. See, there are a lot of activities that is effective teamwork. There are a lot of it comes in many shapes and sizes and has a significant impact on the success of the organization. How can the ideas pop up? You can have a brainstorming session. That means a discussion over the common problem or the common issue, and trusting each other. That is, always remember the great teams, they trust each other. Then willingness to share expertise, that is very important. See, some people think that whatever knowledge I have got, or whatever skill they have gained, let that be with me only. I'll not share my ideas, I'll not share my skills, I'll not share my knowledge with anybody. So if that is your attitude, then how can the team improve, or how can the productivity improve? That is not possible, right? So willingness to share expertise should be the mentality or the attitude of each member who are working in that particular team. And then we have to complement one another. Suppose your team member has done extremely good, or his ideas are very, very productive, then the best thing is each member of the team should complement him. So that will motivate him to generate more innovative or creative ideas. And very important is you should be always open to suggestions. So you should never take it in a negative side, that he or she is always giving me suggestions. Absolutely no. And very important thing is, remember this: whenever you are working in the team, a rise and fall will happen always together. Correct? So with this, a lot of examples and elaborations on the teamwork. So these are some of the classic examples what you're seeing. So using self-managed teams, an appliance manufacturing plant increased the productivity by 22%. Then a large warehousing operation reduced the procurement cycle time by a full day through the creation of an operational improvement team that had the full backing of top management. Then by creating and empowering a new safety team, a mid-sized furniture factory reduced lost time for on-the-job injuries by almost 30%. So the teamwork plays a very, very important role in each and every organization, or in each and every society, for that sake, okay, for the improvement or the betterment of the society. And the basic premise of teamwork is that teams offer the best opportunity for better corporate performance in the form of increased productivity as well as profits. And students, let me go through some of the history points here. Since the early 1990s, so a lot of studies have been conducted, and the reports have been generated. Greater number of US corporations are using teams to accomplish organizational tasks. So many companies, large and small, they face serious challenges from a dynamic and complex global economy, and challenges that have put in question the effectiveness of traditional management methods. So the thinking behind the team approach is that teams form the basic unit of empowerment, large enough for the collective strength and the synergy of diverse talents, and small enough for effective participation and bonding. See, however, please understand, students, not all the team efforts have resulted in success. Before going to understand the meaning of groups and teams, let me explain you. Please understand this. Not all the team efforts have resulted in success. So the use of teams has resulted in such negotiative outcomes as increased cost, stress, and lower group cohesion. So it is recommended that an organization ask critical questions of itself before embarking on creating teams, within its structure, which includes, students, whether teams will diffuse important organizational capabilities, or how much infrastructure realignment will be required, or whether leaders will embrace the team concept and change their styles to suit, or whether teams can carry out tasks previously performed by support departments, and how difficult it will be to develop the teams, that is problem solving capabilities. And even very important, students, teams have failed for lacking of training or two. So here, very important concept, what you have to understand here is, as the HR manager or the human resource manager or the leader, the effective team training has been found to improve the collective efficacy and the team performance. I'm repeating once again, effective team training has to be found to improve collective efficacy and the team performance. So if the team, if an individual is moving in one direction and all other members are moving in another direction, so it cannot be a successful project, or you will not get the result within the stipulated time over there. All the members of your team should work towards the common objective or the common goal, then only you can get the fantastic results. So there'll be a synchronization between each members in the team. So each one should be knowing everyone's skills, and they should share with each other. The knowledge sharing should happen. And remember this, that only when you share the knowledge, your knowledge will grow. So that is how the teams will be formed. And before forming the team, we should understand one thing, that we should all have come to the organization to learn, to understand new things, to understand the new skills. So you should be very, very humble in the team, respect each other, listen to each other. Everybody's suggestions should be taken in a positive way, and whichever feasible solutions are there, that should be considered. So then the productivity might increase, or the profits of the organization also will increase. And today you can see all the multinational companies in India or in any country for that sake, the team will build the company. The core team will build the company. So we can take lot of examples to understand how actually, what is the potential of the team. See, as you know, the story of Infosys, which had the core, where the strength of that particular company is the team, right? So which is a Infosys, all of you know, it's an Indian multinational company that provides business consulting information technology. So initially when it was started, it started with how many members? Only 7 engineers, with an initial capital of $250 in 1981. Then after that, it was registered as Infosys Consultants Private Limited in that is on 2nd July 1981. So from that day today, it has so many clients, so many employees. So initially, if you see the founder members, their strength was there. They had a strong team. Like we have the founder chairman Narayan Murthy, then Nandan Nilekani, Then, Shibulal, Chris Gopal Krishna, Ashok Arora, K. Dinesh, and N.S. Raghavan. Right? So, why I'm sharing all these stories is the team plays a very, very important role in building your organization. Now, we'll try to understand. So, see, in this particular module or unit, I'll be telling a lot of other stories related to your team. Now, we'll try to understand the major thing between group versus teams. So, what is the difference? So, I have put a small quote over there. All teams are groups. I'm repeating, all teams are groups, but not all groups are teams. That means a manager can put together a group of people. I'm repeating, a manager can put together a group of people and never build a team. So a team is a unit of two or more people with complementary skills who are committed to a common purpose. That is very important, students. I'm using the word common purpose because each member in that particular team, their purpose should be towards achieving the common objective, and that is related to the organization and the set of performance goals and to common expectations for which they hold themselves accountable. See, whatever definition I have told you just now, this definition, it will contain three key points to remember. The first, teams are made up of two or more people. So teams can be a large, but most tend to be small with fewer than 15 people. And then second, a team is not just a group of individuals brought together at random. A team is made up of individuals with complementary skills. That is very important keyword over there. And third, people in a team share common goals for which they are accountable. So the goal could be built, the goal could be to build a home, design a network system, or hiring 250 engineers or more than that, or launch a space shuttle. So it would appear that the term team and group are not interchangeably, though some authors, in some books, they are distinguished between them. Whereas a group is simply a collection of people who are working together. So extensive research in the workplace has confirmed that there do indeed exist some differences between the teams and groups. So the team concept implies a sense of shared mission and collective responsibility. So when I say collective responsibility, it is each member is accountable for the proper execution of a particular project, whereas groups focus on individual performance and goals and even individual abilities. Teams have a collective mentality that focus on, that is, sharing information, insights and perspectives, making decisions that support each individual to do his or her own job better, and reinforcing each others individual performance standards. So team members tend to have shared responsibilities, whereas group members sometimes work slightly more independently with greater motivation to achieve personal goals. So the leadership style in a group tends to be very hierarchical, while in a team, it is more likely to be participative or empowerment oriented. And please understand, students, in a team, Performance measures creative direct accountability for the team, and incentives are team based. In contrast, a group is characterized by individual self interest with the mentality of what's in it for me. Then, teams strive for equality between members. That means each member in the team, his ideas will be treated as given respect. So equality will be there, should be there in between the members. In the best teams, there are no stars, and everyone suppresses individual ego for the good of the whole. But nowadays, what we are seeing, two members are working, so those two members will be quarreling because of the ego issue, right? So it is important to bear in mind that these distinctions probably reflect matters of degree. See, one might consider teams to be highly specialized groups. See, when we speak about building Infosys, one more example. When Mr. Narayan Murthy began his career as a chief system programmer at IIM Ahmedabad, he then started a company called Softonics before starting Infosys, which failed after 1.5 years of its inception. Please see here, please understand. So, despite the failure, he did not stop there. He encountered, see, this failure happened at an early stage. So what I tell all my students is, if you want to start something, start at an early stage, because you have the capacity to withstand that particular failure, right? So despite the failure what Narayan Murthy encountered at an early age, he did not give up his dream of being an entrepreneur. So he learned from his previous mistakes and decided to start afresh in 1981. So he, together with the 6 software professionals, put together rupees 10,000 to create a company called Infosys. And very important here is, from the beginning, the team kept the interest of the company ahead of their own interest. And each of the team members brought complementary strengths to the company. That is very important, what you have to understand here. And today, where is, because of the hard work what the team did at that particular time, today Narayan Murthy is listed as one of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time, alongside of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. And even in 2000, he was awarded, Padma Shri by the government of India for his significant contribution to the country's IT sector. So, if you see, there are a lot of companies, through which their foundation is so strong, the team is so strong that they're they have crossed all the limits, and today they're number one company or number one multinational company. Okay, so that is the power of the teamwork. And after that, see a small diagrammatic representations, so that you will understand the things very carefully. Teams consist of members tend to have shared responsibilities, whereas groups concern, members sometimes work slightly more independently with greater motivation to achieve personal goals. That is very important. Whereas teams are concerned more likely to be participative or empowerment oriented. Whereas groups are concerned, the leadership style in a group tends to be very hierarchical. See, this might be one of the common question which might be asked. The major difference between the teams and the groups. Okay, so performance measures create direct accountability for the team, and incentives are team based. So when the incentives are team based, that means each and every individual who is associated with that particular team will be provided with an incentive, and it is team based incentive. Whereas groups are concerned, it is characterized by individual self interest with the mentality of what's in it for me. That means what I'm going to get if I execute this particular project. Whereas teams are concerned, they strive for equality between the members in the best teams. So there are no stars and everyone suppresses individual ego. So when I use the word suppresses, that means you have to keep your ego in your pocket. You have to respect everybody's idea. Then after that, you have to respect everyone's suggestion. So you have to suppress your ego. But today it's very difficult to suppress the ego, individual ego, for the good of the whole. But if you suppress and respect everyone's idea or suggestion, then obviously it's a good team. Whereas groups are concerned, it is simply a collection of people who are working together. So there are when we understand, there are a lot of advantages and disadvantages of teamwork. So here, when something is there, so it has got both advantages and disadvantages. So we'll try to understand advantages first of teamwork, and then a few disadvantages also I have listed, which I'll be explaining to you. Now, what are the advantages of teamwork? What is teamwork? Basically, teamwork is an understanding and commitment to work together or to group goals on the part of all the team members. So the increased acceptance and the use of teams suggests that their usage offers many advantages. So however, teams also present organizations with many challenges, including the need for effective communication, then resolving personality conflicts and egos, establishing unifying goals, so direction and focus. So failure to effectively handle these challenges often results in dysfunctional teams, which means there are disadvantages that come with using teams in organizations. Now, students, we will try to understand each advantage of teamwork. See, in a team situation, it is possible to achieve synergy, whereby the team's total output exceeds the sum of the various members' contribution. That means if you work with full zeal as a team, so it's possible that the output exceeds the sum of the various members' contribution. And in turn, the productivity can also be increased and the profits can also be increased. And ultimately, who will be benefited? You as an individual who are working in the team, right? So if the team is benefited, obviously the members of the team are benefited, no? So that is the first advantage. The second advantage is team members often evaluate one another's thinking. See, before going to the second advantage, let me explain what is this word called as synergy here. Synergy involves what? The creative cooperation of people working together to achieve, something beyond the capabilities of individuals working alone. So second will be a team members often evaluate one another's thinking. So the team is likely to avoid major errors. So this tendency of mutual support and peer review of ideas helps team make better decisions and can provide immunity for organization against the disruptive surprises. See, when you are working as an individual, you might commit a lot of mistakes. But when you are seeing, you might feel that whatever I have done might be perfect. You might be feeling that, okay, this particular work, whatever I have done is perfect. But when you show that to your team, so they might identify the errors and that might be rectified and the project will be executed in a successful way. Otherwise, when we see our work, we always feel that whatever we have done is excellent, perfect. There are no errors in that. But when you show to your team who are cooperative with you, who listen to your ideas, who respect your suggestions, then what they do is they slowly tell you to correct those errors. So this tendency of mutual support is possible in the teamwork. And even the peer review of ideas helps teams make better decisions and even can provide immunity for an organization against any kind of disruptive surprises. And the third one could be teams can do contribute well to the continuous improvement and innovation. See, for example, a number of companies worldwide have found that self managed teams create a work environment that encourages people to become self motivated. So, besides speeding up decision making and innovation, team members report greater satisfaction with their jobs. So, that is the prime importance here. That is called as job satisfaction when you're working with the team members. See, job satisfaction is important because it has in turn been associated with other positive organizational outcomes. For example, students, employees who are satisfied with their jobs, in fact, we have understood earlier that the leaders who are satisfied with the jobs will never quit. The same thing is applicable here. That is, employees who are satisfied with the jobs are less likely to quit, and the absenteeism ratio will be less, and they are more likely to display organizational citizenship behavior. So finally, what happens here is being a member of a team makes it possible to satisfy more needs than if one worked alone. Among these are the needs for affiliation, security, and self-esteem, as well as self-fulfillment. And very important is team members develop the trust for each other and also come to see the team as a social unit that fulfill other needs. And the fourth advantage is team create a work environment that encourages people or the members of the team to become self motivated, empowered, and satisfied with their jobs. And the last advantage of this teamwork is being a member of a team makes it possible to satisfy more needs than if one worked alone, correct? So, among these are the needs for affiliation, just now what I mentioned, security, self esteem, and self fulfillment. See, thus, interpersonal trust is seen as an important social resource that can facilitate cooperation and enable coordinated social interactions. And there is ample research support for the position that employees who are more committed are less likely to leave their jobs and even less likely to experience stress and more likely to perform well and even behave pro socially. So these are some of the major advantages of working in the team or advantages of teamwork. And we'll try to understand some of the disadvantages of teamwork also. See, as I mentioned to you, each and every everything has got the pros and cons, so the advantages and disadvantages. So we'll try to understand some of the disadvantages of the teamwork. See, teamwork has some potential disadvantage for both organizations and individuals. A common problem may be that members face pressure to conform to group standards of performance and conduct. For example, students, a team member may be, ostracized for being much more productive than his or her co-workers. So also there are situations in which working in teams is perceived by some individuals to impinge on their autonomy, thus creating resistance to the team effort. Shrinking of individual responsibility, which is also known as social loafing, is another major problem frequently noted in groups. So what do you mean by social loafing over there? Please see the second point here. Very important. Define social loafing. So social loafing is the conscious or unconscious tendency by some team members to shrink responsibilities by withholding effort towards group goals when they are not individually accountable for their work. See, a small example I want to give is many of you who have worked on team projects have encountered a social loafer. Correct? So social loafing is what is likely to result when the individual effort is not recognized and assessed. So individual performance appraisal helps to discourage social loafing by providing each team member with the feedback on the quality of his or her work. So, but however, students, it goes against the popular view that implementing the team-based performance measures is necessary for a strong team identity, and a strong team identity leads to greater coordination. So, in other words, individual level performance appraisal helps reduce social loafing, but it risks jeopardizing the interaction and the synergy that characterizes excellent team performance. Well, another disadvantage associated with highly cohesive groups or teams is groupthink. Now, the second word I'm telling you, that is, see the third point here, groupthink. Groupthink means what? It is when the members of a cohesive group tend to agree on a decision not on the basis of its merit, but because they are less willing to risk rejection for questioning a majority viewpoint or presenting a dissenting opinion. Now, what do you mean by this? So a decision not on the basis of its merit, but because they are less willing to risk rejection for questioning a majority viewpoint or presenting a dissenting opinion. That means if someone comes with an idea without thinking the feasibility of that, the members of the team will agree. So though the feasibility of that particular decision is not correct, but the team or the group or the members of that particular team will say okay, then will the project be executed within the stipulated time, or whether the project will be successful? That is the big question over there. So that's a risky part over there. So that is a serious disadvantage of teamwork. Okay, see, when we the group culture values getting along more than getting things done. The group often becomes more concerned with the striving for unanimity than with the objectively appraising different courses of action. So dissenting views are suppressed in favor of consensus. The problem of groupthink, students, just now I gave an example to you, can be remedied by training the team members to become effective participants in the decision making process. See, though this cohesiveness is a desirable quality of teams, teams that are extremely cohesive can also become at their worst a source of conflict with other teams. So they may become so cohesive that they resemble cliques with minimal outside interaction or influences, thus creating the potential for significant intergroup conflicts. And even there is a pressure for workers to stand by their teammates and to achieve the team's goal. Or a production team might devote significant energy to creating problems for the marketing team because the latter requires constant changes in the product designs that the production finds impossible or difficult to meet. And very important here, students, from a leadership standpoint, effective team leaders find ways to maximize the advantages of teams and to minimize the disadvantages of teams. So that is one major thing of a leader here. So these are some of the major advantages and disadvantages of teamwork. So I hope all of you have understood the concepts what we have discussed. Before going to the next concept, that is characteristics of effective teams. So I will end the session here so that more concepts if I tell you, so probably you might not understand. So thank you so much for your patience listening, students.